easiest section for you to tackle and overcome. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier for many than the other 3 80 words and chapters. Ability has to do with skills and knowledge, not talent, not personality, but skills. And this is often an area that you may doubt yourself, and perhaps with good reason. Usually, when someone says they are not that kind of person, or they're not good at this, or good at that, it just means they do not have the skills to do or be that kind of person. What a person is really saying in these statements is, if I try to be that kind of person, I will be very uncomfortable, feel stupid, and probably fail at it, and I do not like the way that feels, and I'll avoid it at all costs. This can even attach to your definition of your own identity. Often, I have found there is a drastic misunderstanding of what a skill actually is. Many believe that certain skills are actually personality traits. I have heard statements like, I'm not a salesperson, or I'm not a phone person. Using these just as examples, I realize that many believe that these are personality attributes. They are not. They are skills, and they can be learned. If these are what are getting in your way of success, then learn the skill. Really, these are seen as excuses and barriers that will get in your way. And this is you getting in your own way. I used to say, but I'm not a good salesperson when I was in network marketing. This was my excuse to not do better and the reason behind my lack of sales and recruiting. I was uncomfortable with selling. I was in several network marketing companies over the span of about 20 years, all the while working a regular job. I started in Alouette Cosmetics, and then I went to direct sales for cutlery. I then signed up for USANA nutritional supplements. Finally, I settled on prepaid legal services and stayed with them for about 10 years. I kept attending the trainings, which was easy. I knew how to learn. One day at a Super Saturday, it clicked. Being a good salesperson meant learning a very difficult skill. It was learning about the psychology behind what motivates people. My ability was no longer in question because I was learning sales. I was uncomfortable and felt stupid at times, but I turned my excuses into my reasons. When ability is in question, you get to take classes, you get coaching, you read more books on the subject, and you redefine who you are. You also get to practice the skill. Yes, this means getting uncomfortable to learn and grow within the skill. Yes, you get to mess up and feel stupid at times. Do you remember when you were in school? I sure do. And I especially remember some of my college courses. I was taking Introduction to Macroeconomics, and I really did not know a lot about economics, let alone macroeconomics. There was a week that was really tough for me, and where I was given a project to figure out and graph certain statistics. I was not getting it, and I was not interested in the subject either. My frustration level got to be so high that I became very angry, and I stared at my computer screen. I felt stupid, idiotic, inadequate. A lump began to swell in my throat, and tears began to stream down my face. I began to sob. Yes, sob. Once my pity party was over, and I was beginning to calm down, I was still left with the desire to get an A and excel in everything, and still staring at my computer screen. I took a break for about 15 minutes and came back. I tackled that statistical graph, and I got an A in that class. Once I became comfortable with my extreme discomfort, I was able to address my doubts around my abilities to get to the work. I was faced with so many more decisions about what to do with the book. I could self-publish, I could find a literary agent, and I knew how to do all of that. I just had to decide what was going to be best for my book, and then how to market it. There were several options, and if you were to address every option, you'd be overwhelmed. So I did decide to self-publish while I was getting a literary agent who is also pitching the book to a lot of the top and mid-tier publishing houses. That was the main thing I learned, was really deciding.
SOS, Success or Sabotage. Wrap it up for me.
This book is really just about helping entrepreneurs get out of their own way using a lot of the strategies that I've learned. And in doing so, finding massive success in their lives and in their businesses.
What's your aiming point?
I am aiming towards small business, mainly. I have, however, coached CEOs, marketing directors of universities, a lot of the C-level executives out there. One CEO I worked with recently was the CEO of a nonprofit. He was making $500,000 a year, had all these perks in his job, but he still wanted to learn about how to get out of his own way. He found he still wanted to get to the next level, get his relationships, and I was able to help him substantially. My target audience is entrepreneurs, those people who find themselves in their own way in getting to their business goals.
How would an author apply your strategies to marketing their book?
The main issue I see with authors that I've coached is they come to me really believing that even the large publishing houses will do all of their marketing, and they won't. You have to come to those publishing houses, and even your literary agent, whichever literary agent you might get on board with you, you really have to come to them with a marketing plan. A marketing plan that is a part of your book proposal. That marketing plan has to be spot on. They feel they're a good writer, but to be a best-selling writer, you have to know how to sell your book. And that could even be to the point of how you title your chapters for marketability, how you design the book cover for marketability, the words and how they capture your target audience is part of marketing. You have to understand all aspects of marketing from the beginning of writing your book, middle and end, getting a literary agent, or self-publishing. You really have to know how to market if you want anybody to read your writing.
Where can listeners find out more about you and your book on the internet?
You can find out so much more about this book and about the concepts, the strategies, and me at www.successorsabotage.com.
Catherine Olson, author of Success or Sabotage, thank you for being with me today on the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast. I know my listeners will enjoy your work and your interview.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
If you're looking for a community of like-minded individuals who can offer support, tools, and advice about how you can start your own adventures in writing, be prepared to have the cauldron of your imagination stirred. I started Eat, Sleep, Write for one purpose: to do everything I can to get your voice heard about your writing, as well as get more eyes on your books. My goal is to help you achieve the success that you so richly deserve.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast, located at eatsleepwrite.net. Please send any questions, comments or suggestions to comments@eatsleepwrite.net. Please consider a donation to support the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast. Donations can be sent to our PayPal address at donations@eatsleepwrite.net. Once in a lifetime, the theme music for the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast, courtesy of Stephen Paul, all rights reserved, used by permission. Please join us again for the next edition of the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast.